Gin was the national drink and sex the national obsession. The Roaring Twenties were more than the economic, social, and political advancements frequently mentioned by historians. There was a second side, a side in which America shook off its self-imposed chains of morality for a flashier, funner lifestyle brimming with booze, broads, bullets, and bribery. This era of depravity and progress was hallmarked by both booming business and back-alley dealings. A decade riddled with celebrities and scoundrels, the Roaring Twenties are not easily forgotten. Babe Ruth was considered by many to be the greatest baseball player of all time. Setting a record of 60 home runs in one season, Babe Ruth was one of the first to be considered a hero. He, as well as other influential athletes of the time period such as Lou Gehrig, Red Grange, and Jack Dempsey, changed how Americans view professional athletes from mere jocks to gods. A novelist and chronicler of the Roaring Twenties, F. Scott Fitzgerald wrote insightfully on the time period. His third novel, The Great Gatsby, is considered to be a perfect masterpiece of 1920s culture. Langston Hughes's poetry had a huge impact on the Harlem Renaissance by creating his own style. His rhythms, influenced by jazz music, and his poetry, which reflected African-American hope and defiance, as well as the culture of Harlem, displayed an emotional side to the argument for equality. As a composer, pianist, and big band leader, Duke Ellington is considered one of the most influential figures of jazz music. What made him so remarkable was that Duke added an element of organization and sophistication to the previously untamed genre. His compositions displayed a variety of instruments, scales, and harmonies in combinations that entranced and delighted his audience. An iconic fashion designer, Coco Chanel revolutionized the clothing industry with her simple, elegant clothing and modernist philosophy. Henry Ford, founder of the Ford Motor Company, is considered the father of the modern assembly line. Although he did not invent the automobile, Ford was idolized as the people's tycoon because, to the American public, it seemed that there was finally someone in big business working for them. The early Fords were durable, affordable, and easily fixed thanks to his uniform factory parts. Alice Paul was the head of the National Women's Party and worked for an equal rights amendment in the Constitution. After she was released from jail for the third time, President Woodrow Wilson finally agreed to support a woman's right to vote, and the 19th Amendment was finally passed in 1920. John T. Scopes was a high school biology teacher in Dayton, Tennessee, who got caught up in the middle of a legal battle over teaching evolution that pitted modern science against fundamentalist religion. A bumbling and naive president, after his death, many scandals, such as the Teapot Dome scandal, one of the first scandals that revealed public corruption, came out and ruined his good name. Al Capone was, and still remains, one of the most famous gangsters in the 1920s, with a legacy of his multi-million-dollar Chicago operation in bootlegging, prostitution, and gambling. He helped to romanticize the life of the gangster with his flashy lifestyle and won the hearts of the American people, if only for a moment, with his gregarious and generous personality. The greatest mistakes of the 1920s is prohibition, namely because it resulted in an explosion of crime families. Bootlegging, the illegal sale of alcohol, spread quickly as a profitable business aimed to satisfy the thirst of the people and empty their pockets. A notably infamous bootlegger was Lucky Luciano, the father of organized crime in the United States. It was Luciano that originally divided New York into 5 different mafia families and created the National Crime Syndicate. The 1920s 1920s is often idealized as a nationwide decade-long party. An era of unprecedented affluence, the Roaring Twenties led the way to a modern-day mass consumption society.